unanswered questions about Number 1. Do the rest of the Halloween films share a universe with this movie? No. But Number 2. Is there a connection? Yes. I think I finally cracked the code. And get out the way. First things first. Rest in peace, Uncle Phil. For real. First things first. When I first did the 10 things for the Halloween series, everybody requested me to skip this film. Now that I'm done with the Halloween series, this is my most requested film. So when y'all stop sending me mixed signals and you're ready to commit to a real relationship, I'm just fucking with you. Look, also, if you're gonna meet ride old Mikey Myers over here and complain that he's not in the movie, this video is not for you. So go on and get to stepping. Let's get into it. Whenever you bring up Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, this film falls into two camps. People love it or people despise it. There's no in between. It's fair to say that Michael Myers dominates the focus of the Halloween franchise. Rightfully so. Most of the hate for this movie comes from the fact that we only see Michael in this small little cameo of Halloween playing on the TV in the bar. But we need to talk about two things here. This isn't the only time we see the original Halloween film play in this film. Number 2, this cameo isn't the only connection linking this to the rest of the films. My answer to that question is product placement. I think Silver Shamrock owns the Halloween movies. Hear me out. Let's talk about Cochran and the often overlooked ripple effects he has across the rest of the films. But to do that, we have to look at this film's universe perspective, meaning that we follow what the movie tells us, that Halloween 1978 is merely just a movie. Then this starts to make sense. Cochran isn't just some warlock using modern technology to carry out a plan to wipe out millions of kids for mocking and defacing ancient Halloween traditions.
You don't really know much about Halloween. It was the start of the year in our old Celtic lands, and we'd be waiting. The festival of Samhain, 3,000 years ago when the hills ran red. Sacrifices.
He's not some guy who just packed up one day from his hometown, moved to Santa Mira, opened the Silver Shamrock factory, and started mass producing the infamous pumpkin, witch, and skull mask that would go on to dominate the pop culture sales of Halloween masks in this film. And that's exactly what happens. Those 3 masks became the most popular Halloween mask in the United States, if not worldwide, for the younger generation. The film shows them everywhere, not just California, but Ohio, New York, Nebraska, Louisiana, Washington, Arizona, basically the entire country. Every kid has one. But before these masks exploded in popularity, get it? Exploded in popularity.
You fucking suck!
Cochran had already spent decades building his reputation as the genius of the practical joke.
Colonel Cochran, the all-time genius of the practical joke. The dead dwarf gag, the soft chainsaw, all his. And before that, he used to make toys. Oh, remember that? When I had one of those when I was a kid, used to sit and watch it for hours. He invented sticky toilet paper.
That hasn't changed. Cochran even says himself that the joke isn't the mask, it's the kids.
I do love a good joke, and this is the best ever. A joke on the children.
But Cochran's grand scheme and his marketing strategy goes far beyond of simply selling masks. And this is where the bigger tie-ins come into play. Cochran doesn't just rely on small-time vendors like Ellie's father, Harry, to move his product. He's also partnered with one of the biggest Halloween distributors in the country, people like Buddy Kupfer.
Mr. Kupfer sold more Silver Shamrock masks this year by far than anyone else in the country.
And it doesn't stop with the vendors. Cochran has vans driving neighborhood to neighborhood across the country, megaphones blasting reminders for kids to get home in time to watch the big Silver Shamrock broadcast, the commercial tied to the big Halloween giveaway. Except for the big giveaway is, you're about to be fucking dead. Now to the juicy part. What's interesting to note is that every time you see Halloween 1978 play on the television, it is partnered and followed by the commercial. Even the announcer says it.
The Immortal Classic, followed by the big giveaway at 9. Brought to you by...
Both brought to you by, of course, Silver Shamrock. So Silver Shamrock isn't just selling masks. They're sponsoring the broadcast of Halloween 1978 with a horror-thon. And they're running the commercials right alongside it. Now let's talk about the next time we see Halloween 1978 play in this film. This happens near the end when Cochran has Challis captive. Challis is restrained, wearing one of the Shamrock masks, basically waiting to meet the same fate as everybody else before he manages to escape. But here's the fun tidbit, and this is going to get complicated, so I'll throw this up on screen and try to make this as easy as fucking possible. In the extended French cut of this film, the dialogue between Challis and Cochran is actually different.
Enjoy the horror fun, Doctor. And don't forget to watch the big giveaway afterwards. Why, Cochran? Why? Do I need a reason? Why, Cochran? Why? Do I need a reason?
And this brings up something else important about Halloween 3. This is one of those movies that has 16 different versions floating around. It's way too much to break down here. This would be a 6-hour video. But just understand that there are very major and very minor differences throughout all of these different versions. For example, the American release alone includes multiple editions: VHS, DVD, Blu-ray, 4K, the AMC television version, the 1998 Good Times DVD, and at least 2 slightly different R-rated cuts. That's just the standard version. Wait for this. Because outside the US, overseas, it gets even more complicated. There are 2 different UK versions with a separate TV edit, a German cut of this film that has 2 separate TV versions, a Spanish release that also has a special TV edit, the Australian release, which itself has different cuts between the DVD and the Blu-ray, and also a different TV edit. So depending on which version of this movie you watched growing up, you might remember these scenes a little bit different than somebody else. Now, I'm not saying you're going to sit down and watch the fucking Spanish version, but it's a cool fact to know. So Cochran tells Challis, sit back and enjoy the horror-thon. Basically, Halloween 1978 playing on repeat with the Shamrock commercials running before, during, and after the broadcast. And the cycle just keeps going. Now, the grand scheme of this is, in this universe, Halloween 1978, along with The Mask, functions as products of Shamrock. It's a part of the same marketing machine that's pushing all these kids to watch this Halloween broadcast. But to go even further with this, the connection runs even deeper. Deeper than the commercials and the sponsorships. There are some uncanny thematic similarities between the 2 films. Cochran takes his ritualistic beliefs and channels them into Halloween, both the holiday and the TV film. A lot of what Cochran believes, preaches, and explains to Challis echoes the idea that you see in every other Halloween film. For example, Halloween itself, the holiday, sits at the center of everything. For Cochran, it's tied to an extreme, almost fanatical devotion to ancient Celtic pagan traditions. Masks become the symbol of the night. Kids are wearing them as they celebrate. And across the franchise, you also have masked figures becoming the monsters themselves, and they both sacrifice children and teenagers for the twisted sacrifices tied to the mythology of Samhain, or Samhain. Cochran did it for Samhain, and Michael was doing it for Samhain, even way back in Halloween 2 in 1981.
It was the start of the year in our old Celtic lands, and we'd be waiting. Halloween, the festival of Samhain.
It's a Celtic word, Samhain. It means the Lord of the Dead, the festival of Samhain, October 31st.
Also, I'm saying 1981 for Halloween 2 instead of 1978 because, again, in this universe, the Halloween movies are just movies. And since Halloween 3 Season of the Witch takes place during the week of Halloween, October 1982, that means that Halloween 2 from 1981 has also already been released in this universe. If you follow the ideas that the movie introduces, it almost feels like the Halloween franchise in itself, the movie franchise, keeps moving further and further in that territory, especially later on when you get to Halloween 6, which dives headfirst into a Celtic pagan Samhain cult angle, even inserting the most minor details, like Blankenship.
Minnie Blankenship. Happy Halloween, Mrs. Blankenship!
Now, I know the ending of Halloween 3 is purposely ambiguous, but realistically, Challis wasn't able to stop that third channel from broadcasting the commercial. There's almost no way that millions of kids wasn't killed because of Shamrock. And Cochran doesn't even seem to be worried about dying in the end. And we'll talk more about that later in the video. Because from his perspective, he's already won. The broadcast was going out, the masks were everywhere, and the sacrifice to Samhain was already in motion. So it doesn't matter that Cochran died. It doesn't matter that the factory was blown up. The mission was a success, and they continued to use product placement throughout the rest of these Halloween films, even decades later, when perhaps it was time to make another big sacrifice. When things calmed down, the dust settled, and years went by, and with a new leader, the cycle repeats. Thus, Silver Shamrock will be back and bigger than ever. So to recap, my idea is that the Halloween films are purely products of Silver Shamrock that uses its ideas, beliefs, and literal product placements underneath the Halloween name and the boogeyman to appeal to the masses of the children from generation to generation. It all makes perfect sense now. It's also a fun detail to mention that Linda, which is Challis' wife, is an actress, and that also means that she appeared in the original Halloween film, followed by its sequel, which is mind-blowing. But that's a conversation for another time.
It's getting late. I could use a drink.
Is Dr. Challis a playboy? Or
Exorcise the demon.
is he a fucking creep? Half serious question here. Challis might be one of the most memeable characters, if not the most memeable, in the Halloween franchise. Hate your wife and kids? Apparently, there's nothing a 6-pack of beer and a road trip to Santa Mira with a younger woman can't fix. But seriously, what's the deal with this dude? It's no secret that Challis is a functioning alcoholic. But let's run through it from the beginning. Our first introduction to him is him coming home to his wife and kids. And he absolutely fucking hates it.
Hello?
Dad's here.
Take a look at the expression on his face when he realizes his kids are about to run up to him. He's like, oh, god damn it. And Linda spells it all out for the audience.
Drinking and doctoring, great combination.
Now, Challis isn't just dependent on the bottle, he's also very handsy with his coworkers. I'd say flirty, but he's a little bit more than flirty.
I could use a nap. Wanna take one with me?
And when flirting doesn't work, just smack him on the ass.
I think I should have married you, Agnes.
But here's the weird part. Agnes doesn't seem to mind. Matter of fact, the women in this film, none of them seem to mind. Agnes doesn't, Teddy doesn't. Matter of fact, Teddy kinda comes on to him.
I was always good at moonlighting, wasn't I?
Oh, the best. Hey, do you still have that, dude? How you been?
Okay, you?
Thanks again.
Fast forward to Challis at the bar, which seems to be his natural habitat.
One of the nurses told me I could find you here.
And apparently, Challis went to Harry's funeral.
I saw you at the funeral. Thank you.
Then comes the moment where Challis drops everything. Every responsibility he has, assuming that he ever treated his wife and kids as a priority in the first place, to run off and investigate a conspiracy with a woman he's known for all of a few hours. He also said, fuck work, hold it down. All Challis needs is a 6-pack of beer and a hotel room to commit to the investigation. And he does.
I could sleep in the car. Be better on this floor anyway.
Where do you want to sleep, Dr. Challis?
That's a dumb question, Miss Grimbridge.
I call this Steven Seagal syndrome, because in nearly every Seagal movie, he's pushing senior citizen status, and every young girl, whether that be late teens, early 20s, 30s, it doesn't make a fuck, every woman on the planet just throws themselves at Steven Seagal. Like, that's the most natural thing in the world. So I guess in the 80s, being an alcoholic doctor with questionable parenting skills was just irresistible. And that outdated porn stats probably didn't hurt either. But on a serious note, I can't decide what this movie is going for with Challis. Is he supposed to be this charming womanizer? Or is he supposed to be this creepy-ass, passive-aggressive predator who works his way into an unlimited amount of Number 6. Rapid fire round.
Stop it! For a pursuit. Your rooms are waiting. Stop it! Stop it!
Oops, wrong movie.
You gotta believe me! Take it off the air now, please! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it!
Oops, wrong movie.
No, I'm not drunk.
Number 7. How did Ellie's dad find out about the ordeal? And
Linda.
Oh shit! What's the deal with Elliebot? Let's talk about Harry. So aside from him setting off the introduction of the movie, surviving, and then getting his fucking skull crushed inside out, you know, normal things, it still puzzles me how Harry found out about Cochrane's plan. Because even though that's why Ellie went to Santa Mira to investigate, that's not why Challis went. we're still left with this story unanswered. And there are still questions about Harry that the film, Ellie, and Challis don't even bother to ask. And this gets way more complicated than you think, so let's talk about it. All we have is a timeline left by Harry, and it goes as follows. October 18th.
October 18th, Merchants Council meeting. He was there. I checked.
October 19th.
October 19th, football game. He was there too.
And October 20th, the big day.
October 20th, pick up more masks.
Because he never made it to his plans for the 21st.
October 21st, dinner with Minnie. He never showed up.
What puzzles me the most is why did Harry decide to stay at that motel? His ultimate goal was just to go pick up another batch of masks. And the factory is only a few hours away. Ellie and Challis make it there in no time. And aside from the factory itself, Santa Mira seems to be a normal looking place. Farmers, citizens, of course they would have to know about Cochran and not get in his way, but it also seems that other people are coming in and out of this motel and going about their way without any issues. So my guess is that Harry found out beforehand. Otherwise, why stay at this motel if you had plans the next morning? If it were just simply to go pick up another batch of masks. Now, if this sounds a little bit confusing, here's another swift kick in the balls. Harry did pick up his order.
These people lost an order. Did you load this one?
Sure did. Last week, a man in an old green station wagon.
So even though he was scheduled to pick up that order on the 20th, he stayed at that motel on the 20th, which was walking distance from the factory. He actually picked it up on the 21st.
The 21st. Here's his signature.
So he stayed in the motel overnight, picked up his order the next morning. This guy loaded it into his car, and then he left. Now they could be lying about this pickup, but I don't think so, and here's why. Harry clearly had access to the mask. They confiscated his vehicle.
That's Papa's car.
So, what went wrong? And to top all this craziness off, the opening takes place on the 23rd. 2 days after shit went south. 2 days. So what in the devil's taint did Cochran do with Harry for 2 entire days? 48 hours. So that his plan wouldn't be exposed. 48 hours is a crazy amount of time to play hide and seek with these androids, especially when they're trying to kill you. So as you can see by now, Harry's story is a little bit more complex than what's on the surface. It has layers and layers of fuckery. So let's move on to Elliebot now. There's a lot of debate on if Ellie was ever even real in the first place. And I think the most obvious answer will be yes, up until the time of her capture. But Cochran making Elliebot doesn't make any sense. You may think they made Elliebot to stop Challis from exposing the plan, right? Wrong. They had Challis tied up and ready to die at the hands of the Shamrock mask when the commercial was about to air. So Elliebot wasn't needed. They didn't plan for Challis to escape with his ninja mask throwing skills and Bruce Willis diehard vent traveling. So who was this for? Cochran already killed his biggest vendor in the country, along with that vendor's wife and kid. He killed a homeless man for talking shit. They killed Harry. They was going to kill Challis. So what was the purpose of Elliebot? And why was she so special in her making? And I need to debunk something about these androids. Elliebot never talks after being rescued. But these androids can talk. I'll show the clip right here.
Sir, malfunction. Camera 2.
And this dude can't be human because all the androids die at the same time when Challis uses the tag device against themselves. Even ones way up on the stairs die. So I don't see why Ellie was immune to this, but that's a different matter. If Cochran was killing off his biggest vendors, his smallest vendors, he was going to kill Challis. He killed Harry. He's killing out random citizens talking shit about him down in Santa Mira. What is the purpose of making Ellie an Elliebot? What the fuck is going on? He was probably going to keep Elliebot for himself. You know what I mean? Number 9. Did millions of children die because of Cochran's plan? Or
fatality.
Did they actually survive? Here's why I question this. For the sake of redundancy, I'm not going to go into Cochran's motive and all that again. But as a modern day warlock, it's revealed that the power that fuels his Shamrock mask to essentially melt their fucking faces off like the Wicked Witch of the West, and then hundreds of insects and crickets and snakes and other weird ass things we see in this film, disgusting, comes from Stonehenge.
Ancient sacrificial circle. Stonehenge.
So after Cochran's semi-comedic death here, the factory gets blown up. Stonehenge gets destroyed. So my question is, with the main source of this ancient technology / magic destroyed, Does that mean that it would cancel out the other magic embedded into the Shamrock tags? Would those microchips still, fuck you up? Or you good? I've always been on the dark side of this ending, where Challis is unsuccessful and millions of children fall victim to Cochran's sacrifice. Most likely including Challis' own children. But I assume we can make an argument either way, and that's why it's ambiguous for a reason. I find this interesting because the film cuts off right at the moment where everything hinges on that final broadcast. But I think that's the most overlooked detail. It's not about the third channel really airing. It's about the Stonehenge still had the power to get the microchips power to fuck them kids up. So would that third channel even matter? Was destroying the main power source of that magic enough? Is Challis over there tweaking for no reason? Or was it really too late? And the Samhain sacrifice, or the ritual, was a success. And now millions of kids are now melted face Freddy fucking Krueger insect snake pits now. What makes this ending even more fun to theorize about is if you include time zones. Huh? Think about it. If the broadcast was meant to air nationwide, or even worldwide, it wouldn't necessarily trigger all at the same moment. In the United States here, the East Coast airs things hours before the West Coast. So in New York, this commercial might already be on. But in California, the kids could be waiting. So that means when Challis was desperately calling the stations to pull the commercial, the damage might have already begun in certain regions, while others he could have saved. And if Silver Shamrock's plan was truly global, that window only gets bigger. Different countries could be hours apart in their broadcast, turning this ritual into a rolling wave across different time zones. And that completely changes the end. So even if Challis wasn't able to stop the signal somewhere, halfway across the earth could already be fucked. And that's what makes this ending so fun. That's going to wrap this video up, guys. Thank you so much for taking part of your day to kick it with me. I appreciate it. You have no fucking idea how hard this was to do, but I did it. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next week with another 10 Things video. What is it going to be? I don't know. With that being said, if you have any theories about any horror movie whatsoever, feel free to drop it in the Discord. The Discord is free. It's just a hangout spot. We talk about movies, music, games, life, everything under the sun. You can come talk some shit. It's a good time. I also have YouTube membership where you get early access to all my videos. So don't feel obligated, but feel free to check it out. You'll be supporting me and this channel. With that being said, I'll see you next week. I love you all. Adios.